All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's great and everyone is all right. Have a few people that are still trying to connect their audio, so I'll give them a few seconds. All right, it looks like everybody's in, maybe one person, but we can go ahead and get rolling. So good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. Everyone's all right. Welcome to the summer session. Sorry for running a few minutes behind. I got kicked out of my computer and it reset and kicked me out of everything. So I had to get back in real quick and everything. So I apologize for that. All right, hold on one second. Do this. All right. So hopefully you guys were able to see all of my emails that I sent to you up to this point. So if you ever have any questions about any communications that I've done with the whole class, of course, individual communication, individual emails, of course, that wouldn't be where I'm about to show you, but any class communications will always be in your Canvas announcements. Also, while this is coming up, I have two different classes in here, 155 and 161, but you guys are starting at the same time. The setup is the same, math lab, all this stuff like that. So that's why I just went ahead and just had one meeting. So if you're 155, 161, you're in the same space. Now, there's one thing I want to talk about with 155 that does not apply to 161, but I'll make sure that's clear before when we get there. But in your announcements, Canvas announcements. You'll see all of the emails that I've sent to the class up to this point. So I will always archive class emails there. Outside of that, we will not be using Canvas for anything else. So you won't go to Canvas for your grades. You won't go to Canvas for your assignments, your due dates, or anything like that. Everything is going to be in MathLab. Once again, the only place that you go for your go to Canvas is for your emails, class emails. Everything I try to push everything to one space versus going to multiple spaces. Um, if I could have put emails in MathLab, then I would have just pushed everything to MathLab. So, all right, so let's look at these emails. The first one that I sent to you guys, just greeting you, and just the type of class that it is, course description, just letting you know it's online asynchronous class. So that just means that once again it's online, but asynchronous means that we do not have any type of scheduled class meetings. Just that you got all the information, you have your assignments, you have your due dates. Now you got to get it done. And I have recordings and stuff, and you will see that in a second. But there's no designated time that we are going to meet. All right. This is just reminding you that the class, remember I sent these back, what's it, May 16th? And just so that if you wanted to get started, you could. But our class actual date was this week, which was June 2nd, June 2nd. So required materials, which is MathLab Access, you do not have to purchase a hard copy of the book, but you do need to purchase access to MathLab. You cannot pass the course without access to MathLab. And so these were the instructions in order for you to do that. Go to MathLab, mymathlab.com. And then from there, click on register. Here's the course ID. Now, I'm in my 155 shell, but for 161, your course ID is a little different. So once again, you're not copying this code. Go to your email, go to your Canvas announcements and see what is your course ID, whether it's 155 or 161. Just go to your Canvas announcements, it's there. But the instructions are the same outside of that course ID. So you put in that code that will give you access to the shell. From there, you can register, and this stuff didn't, it was supposed to be three different lines, but anyway, you can see the directions. You can purchase access and from whether it be TCC, Amazon, some type of outside source. If you do that, you will get a 16-digit code that you have to put in. That's your 16-digit access code. Now, the second option is that you can purchase access through Pearson. If that's the case, they won't give you a code. They would just go ahead and give you access. You bought it from them. They're just going to give you access from right there. And if you're not ready to purchase anything at this moment, then you can use the 14-day free pass. There should be a link at the bottom of the screen that will allow you to click on 14-day free pass, and you have full access to the course for 14 days. After that, it will lock you out if you're not ready to pay or if you have not paid. You will not lose any of your progression, but you will lose access until you go ahead and pay. I can still see what you've done up to that point, but they will not allow you to have access until you go ahead and pay. You don't have to purchase a textbook. I mentioned that already, because they give you access to the e-text. It's the same text that you would get if you were to purchase a hard copy, but it's all inside of your Pearson Access. All right, I think that's all for that. All right. So before we get into the specifics of how we use MathLab, questions on anything so far? Everybody good? All right. So from there, MathLab specifics. In other words, how will we specifically use MathLab? So notice that first statement is that MathLab does not work well with Safari. So it's best to download Chrome. Both of them are free. Chrome and Firefox are free. I always use Chrome. I don't have any problems with Chrome. I know this is last semester, semester before last, had a few that had problems with Firefox, but Chrome will always work. But if you're using Safari, if you have an Apple product and you use Safari, it will not work well with Safari. Unless they change something since, like a month ago or something. All right. So from there, I already mentioned that you cannot pass the class without access to Pearson. In other words, you have to purchase your MathLab. All of your assignments, your tests, and everything we do will be generated through MathLab. So in your final exam, it's going to be done through MathLab. Everything we do will be done through MathLab. So you see, it would be impossible if you don't have access to MathLab. So you must participate and show activity weekly to solidify your attendance. So I'm not asking for daily attendance or daily activity, but weekly activity at least. So that and now with this type of class, 7 weeks, you probably should be getting in there daily, right? But I'm not requiring that. At least if you're getting there weekly, then that's good enough for me. Somebody said something in the chat. Let's see. Will it prompt me to add my code? Yes, at some point it will ask you for that code, and there should be something you can click on in order to be able to put that code in, even if you've already done the 14-day free pass. Yep. And if you have any issues with it when it comes to that time, then you can always call Pearson's tech support. But if we have to set up a Zoom link so I can see your screen, share your screen, so we can do that as well. But Pearson, I think they have 24 hours service, so that's always an option as well. All right. So that was your attendance. If you have any issues with whether it be attendance, MathLab, anything, just make sure you email me as soon as possible so that I can be aware that you're having issues. You don't have to give me deep, intimate details about what's going on, but you at least want to let me know that you may have fallen behind and you're going to get caught up, that type of thing, so that if I have to submit names about non-activity, then I wouldn't submit your name because you got a plan or something like that. So always keep me aware that you're trying to make it happen. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. All right. So now when it comes to homework, you have unlimited attempts to get the best grade possible on your homework assignments. So when I look at your grade for your homework, I'm looking for at least a 75 or better. So 75 to 84.9, I will give you 90% of my grade book. 85 to 100, I'll give you full 100%. So really, if you're trying to get full 100%, you want to shoot for at least 85. Now, that's not something that I can adjust through MathLab. That's something I made up, and I can't, program MathLab to do that. So that's something I would do at the end of this session. So don't look for 85 to just automatically jump to 100. That's what I'll do in my own grading at the end. Let's see. I don't remember how much it is for MathLab. I think 75 is in my mind. I don't know if that's an old price. Um, yeah, I don't know how much it is. If you go to, if you go to the bookstores, look, somebody might be saying it in the chat. Let's see. Oh, 75. So I was right. Michaela said 75. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you. I was hoping that wasn't, a bad pricing. I give you something low, you're looking for 75 and it's 175. Yeah, so appreciate that. All right, so when it comes to homework, like I said, we're looking for at least 75 or better. Now, notice I didn't mention anything less than 75 because with unlimited amount of tries, there's no such thing as unlimited amount of problems. So I believe that if you really wanted to get 75, you really kind of could, because all you do is click on the problem, you got it wrong, and then you can go back, keep clicking on it until you get but I know you don't want to play that game because you want to know the material. I'm just saying that at least get that 75 and you should be good to go. Now, for every test, there's a test review. They are not mandatory. They're set up like your homeworks though, so you do have unlimited amount of tries to do them, and you know, you want to get your practice in and whatever, then you have those test reviews. But if you score 85 or better on it, then I'll add 5 points to that respective test. Now, like I said, these test reviews are not mandatory, but I would suggest you at least take a look at them so you know what type of problems you may see on that respective test. Because even for the final exam, I have a test review for that as well, or final exam review. And it will streamline your questions. So if you have to ask me questions, you already know what type of questions to ask me based on the test reviews and final exam review. Because I always say that if you're going to come to me with questions, don't come to me with something random like, I don't know how to solve equations. Actually, bring an equation that you were trying to work so we can work it out versus you know, I'm just pulling out from the universe of equations. You know, I could pull 5 problems and still not address the issue you had with that equation. So make sure you be as specific as possible and tell me the problem that you're working on that got you stuck, and then we can work on that problem. And then from there, I can pull another problem that addresses the issue you had in that problem. So it just, and then that also shows that you're putting in work and you're not just randomly talking about, I don't have a, you know, I don't know what, even if it's, oh my, oh, yeah, sorry about that alarm. But even if it's section 5, number 1, I didn't know what, I got into the homework, I didn't know where to start. But at least say number 1, 5.1, number 1, I didn't know where to start there. Because really, maybe if I answer that first problem, you might be good for the rest of them. So, you know, that's what I want us to do when you're talking about coming to my office hours or shoot me an email, you know, shoot me something specific so I'll know what to address in my response. All right. When it comes to tests, you don't have unlimited amount of test attempts. You get 2 automatically. But I always say this: if something happens, let's say a cat walk across your keyboard, hit submit or something like that, it's just a conversation. You know, if you want another attempt, just let me know. But you get 2 without asking. All right. And then for the last statement, you must email me a copy of Scratchwork for all your test submissions. So homework, I'm not talking about, just your test submissions. And that statement is more of a statement I send to every class. That statement more applies to 161 than it does to 155. For those of you in my 155, my statistics class, even in the instructions, when you look in the book, they'll tell you to use technology and stuff like that. But for those of you on 161, this is the stepping stone to another math class, which is the stepping stone to another math class. So you don't want to be leaning too hard on technology or on it at all because you're trying to build a foundation. There's pre-calc 1. There's a pre-calc 2, which uses the same book and the same concepts. And then hopefully you'll get into calculus for those who are going that far. And all of these things build upon each other. So you do need to have some scratch work of your own accord when it comes to 161 for sure. All right. Questions on anything I've said up to this point? Make sure we're okay. All right. Let's go back to announcements. So after the specifics, I sent you this list of previously recorded lectures. So these are just recordings of, and of course, once again, this is 155 for 161. The lectures, the titles will be different and everything, but this is just a list of recordings of a previous class, and it covers everything that you're going to talk about. So it's up to you if you want to use them. You don't have to. If you just want to just, you know, work it out through MATLAB and no instruction and, you know, whatever way you want to do it, because they have videos in MATLAB as well that you can lean on, you know. So it's up to you how you want to handle it, but they're there for your, you know, at your disposal to review as you like. All right. And then that was the optional meeting that we had today. So before we go into MATLAB, and I'll show you how that worked. Is everybody good? Everybody good? So if you go into MATLAB, for those who have not registered yet, you go right here, no account, register now, hit student access. LMS is learning management system. So we're using Canvas, but I didn't connect MATLAB through Canvas. Or in other words, make you have to go to Canvas in order to get the MATLAB. It was just a little clunky when I did it a couple years ago, and I never went back to see if they streamlined the process or anything. So it's just easier to me to just send you the MATLAB. So we're not using the LMS. And so we'll just go here and just hit register. Remember, the only reason we're using Canvas is just to archive our emails. And then here's where you put that ID that I gave you, Tucker, whatever those numbers were, register, and then put in your information. That's when they're going to prompt you to, pay or not and everything like that. So, but let's go ahead and go in there. All right. All right, so here you will have all of your tabs. You got your syllabus, and I need to send you guys my office hours. I haven't put that up there yet, and your assignments. And notice that this goes to 7/25. That is your date in SIS. So I'm giving you guys the last date that I could in order for you guys to be able to do the work. That's the last day in SIS. I'm gonna check. I may be able to give y'all that Saturday to do some work, but as far as final exams, it has to be that week though. That's the week of the 7/25. That's a Friday. All right. So all of your assignments are open all the way up to that point. So that's your only due date because that's the only time we got, you know what I mean? So I try to be put you in a position to be able to work and just make things happen without any type of blocks. And then if you get a little bit behind, you'll be able to do it. No extensions that need to be asked. We just got the one due date, which is 7/25. And then like I said, the week of 7/25, I'll give you 4 or 5 testing options to choose from throughout that week, and you'll be able to take your exam. You'll log on to Zoom. I'm going to send you email with those instructions. You log on to Zoom, enable your camera. So you got to make sure your camera works so I can see you. And then you do all that, show your ID to the camera. Then I'll give you the password. Then you work on it while you're on Zoom. And then once you're done, then you finish with the final exam. And you don't have to finish everything in order to take your final exam. There are a few more assignments you want to get caught up on or finish up or whatever. You can do it that way as well. But you do have to take that final exam with me, watching you through Zoom at some point. All right. So, and notice the way it's set up, and this is the same thing for 161. You're gonna have I think 161 the way I have it set up, you have chapter one is one bulk of information by itself. Then there's test one, then chapter two, then there's test two, three, and then test four. So it's only four chapters out of 161. But for 155, you see it's broken up into two apiece. Chapters one and two, then there's test one, chapters three and four, then there's test two. So it's for all of my classes, there's a bulk of information, test review, test, bulk of information, test review, test. Um Ignore that midterm review. I'll take it out of there. It's not supposed to be there because you guys not doing the midterm. For those in 155, I just forgot to remove that. Just doing a final exam. All right. So if I go in there, just want to go here just in case someone has not seen MATLAB and how it works. All right. So here goes an example. I'm just gonna put anything in here right now. Let me do that. All right. So you put in your answers and notice you can check right here. And if you get it incorrect, they try to give you a hint. Try to give you a hint again, and then notice down here it says final check. So they give you 3 chances to get the answer correct. And that's normal the case, unless it's like a true or false question or some type of definition type question, then they may only give you one shot, but for those that involve calculation, normally it's 3 chances to get the answer correct. Then once you hit the final check, if you got it right, then it'll give you a green check, like you got it all right. But if you got it wrong, like I did in this case, you get a red X. And then, of course, they tell you the answer. And then from there, you can either hit similar question or next question. If you don't hit similar question at that moment, it'll always be down here in the right corner where you were, checking to see if you got the right answer. So once you do that, give you a very similar problem, different numbers, just same process. And then you can go about trying to solve the problem. Notice there's a red X right here that lets me know that I got it incorrect. You go to the problem list, red X right there as well. Once I get it correct, that red X will turn to a green check and it will give me full credit. is you see how I have multiple answers. See if I got some of them right, some of them wrong. I will get a green check / red X. Let me know I got part of it right. And so I'll get partial points. And then if I go back and do it over and get it right, then they'll give me full credit. Down here, help me solve this. These are your help tools. Help me solve this. Normally, people do not click on help me solve this because once you do that, it automatically marks the problem wrong and then it helps you solve it. But then, of course, you can reset it if you want to, but that's what you click on if you're just completely done with the problem. You just don't know, and you don't even feel like fooling with it anymore. You just want to know the answers, right? But what you can do, which is what most people do, is hit view an example, and then it'll open up a window and it'll walk you through um, that problem and how to do it. That also now got out of you can also print that if you like. That's up to you. Some people do. I have people that create a whole notebook of printed viewing examples. So it's up to you how you want to do that if you got, paper to spare. Then getting more help. The options here is how many options you have depends on the complexity of the problem. Sometimes there'll be a video here of another instructor, a Pearson instructor, talking about this type of problem. I've seen one that has an animation of walking through the problem. StatCrunch is only for those in statistics. My 155 class. That's Pearson's version of Excel. If you want to know more how to use it, then you always get with me on it. But probably be able to figure it out if you go messing around with it. But if you have any questions on it, feel free to email me. Tech help that sends you to Pearson's tech support, and you can ask them for help with not with problems like math problems, but with problems with your technology. All right. And then as my instructor, they'll send me an email that you had an issue with this problem. And with that, most of the time it interfaces well, MATLAB communicates fine with the email. Every now and then I may not get that email. I've had people, say, hey, I sent you something through Pearson. Did you get it? And I didn't get it. I even go back and look and I never got it. So that could have been user error though. There's no way it was no way for me to confirm that. But the reason why I bring that up is just keep in mind that I don't create or allow points of contact or the ability to contact me so that I can ignore your email and not respond at all. So things happen. Like I said, sometimes technology don't interface well as it should. Sometimes emails may get caught up in the midst of other emails, because I get a lot of them. So just feel free to email me again or just we'll come to office hours because we don't have a class. We can come to office hours and we can make sure that you're good to go. If you know you're gonna come to office hours, it would be good if you email me. So since it's all strictly online, I may step away from the computer or something like that. So if you're gonna, let's say if I have office hours from 10 to 12 and you coming in at 11, yeah, shoot me an email, let me know I'm coming, but I'm gonna probably be around 11-ish or something like that. So I'll know to be looking for you at 11. That type of thing, just so I can make sure we make proper use of everybody's time. All right. I think that's it from there. As far as the notes, when you look at those videos, it's coming from this type of screen. You'll hear me talking and writing and erasing and everything like that. So it's live for that class period. And I'm walking it through and everything like that. All right. So let's see. There's my screen right there. I think I've covered everything. Oh, one last thing, and then I'll see if anybody have any questions. For those of you who are in my 155, remember I said there was one thing that 155 is held accountable for that 161 is not. 155, you have these definitions, chapters 1 and 2. Chapters 1 and 2 definitions are the only chapters that we're doing definitions on because I wanted to make sure that your foundation was straight going into the rest of the course. With statistics has its own language. There's certain words that are used in statistics differently that they're used in the outside world. So you want to make sure that you have your foundation straight when you start to see these terms and everything like that. And we're only doing it once again for chapters 1 and 2, and you see that they're right here. So you want to get those to me as soon as possible. You would do those on a notebook, or if you want to print it up, type it up, whatever way. When you're done, you can either screenshot it. Let's say if you did it in your notebook, take a picture with your phone or whatever, email it to me. Or if you did it through Word, you just send a file to me, once again, through email. There's no way to submit that through MATLAB. But once you send it to me through email, I'll respond to the email, let you know I got it, and then I'll put your grade into MATLAB. And it should be, and it's made to be a simple assignment. It's not supposed to be something that's going to be taxing when you go into your e-text. Let me do this. I'm going to do this first. If you look at the first couple definitions, what are two definitions of statistics? Population parameters, sample, raw data, right? So when I go to the e-text, And let's do it like this. Go straight to the homework. Undo it. So it'll take a couple seconds for it to load up, but it's the whole textbook. And whatever page you're looking at in the hard copy, it's the same page that you're looking at in your textbook. I mean, in your e-text. Let's open the e-text. I got so much stuff up here now. It used to be all that extensive with all these different options. Just used to go to the book, but all right. So, oh, come on back. So the first thing, remember the first thing was what are two definitions of statistics? And you see, there you go right there. Two definitions of statistics. Then population, there go population, population parameters, and then you keep going, you should see the other definitions: sample, raw data, sample statistics. So my point is, it was not an assignment to be hard. It wasn't an assignment to create a scavenger hunt for you. Once again, it should be an easy assignment that's created that was created so that you can get familiar with these terms and be okay in your foundation moving forward. And all of these definitions, I won't say all of these definitions, but these definitions are also in your chapter 1 and chapter 2 um homework assignments. So you actually answer some of those questions. So when you see them in 1-1, then you should be able to answer without a problem, or at least go reference your notes to find the answer and everything. All right. So questions, concerns, comments, anything, anybody. And you want to get those definitions to me as soon as possible. I don't need to put a date on it because look, 7:25 will be here before you know it. So you want to get those to me as soon as possible. All right. Any questions, concerns, comments before we close out? See something in the chat. Oh, so one due date, yep, one due date for everything. And then, like I said, your final exam, I'm going to email you some dates. It's going to be the week of 7/25. So that week, that's a Friday. So that week, you will get your we will be doing our final exam. I'm going to give you those due date. I'm not due dates. I will give you those final exam date options well before that. I'm just saying that will be the week that we will be taking it done. No, the tests are not timed, but the final exam you get 2 hours. Now, I did not create a test to take up all of 2 hours, so I'm giving you 2 hours to take it. Most people do finish early, but you don't. You know, if you don't, you don't. It's fine. But the tests are not timed. But once again, your final exam, you will have 2 hours to take it. All right. Anything else? Anybody else before we close? Make sure we're good. All right. Let's see, I got one more in here. Okay, great, great, great. So if you guys are good, I'm good. Feel free if another question pop up to shoot me that email, and let's look forward to having a great few weeks with you. 7 weeks, right? And other than that, you guys have a great week. Be safe and take care. No problem. Thank you. You have a good one. Thanks. Take care.